Hi, hello, Pilipinas. Hello, Pilipinas. We are the bench. Uh, this is the bench, and welcome to our huddle where we offer a layman's view on anything and everything basketball from regular dudes who eat, sleep, and breathe hoops. Hi, and oh my God, what a day! So we're here, and I'm Julio Dubs Die Hard, and to my left is,
Hi, I'm Jay. Cheers, everyone.
and then
And
right above me is
Mike, Pop Disciple here.
of disciple. And we're here anyway. It's been a crazy day so far, but we're here because it's game one of the finals. It's Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. And I think by this time everyone knows that the Suns win 118 to 105. So Jay, what are your thoughts in the game?
Yeah, it's pretty much controlled by the Suns from the get-go. I think that elbow shot for Booker and Chris Paul was there all night long. Forays into the basket by their wingman. Aiton was there for lobs, man. They performed like a well-oiled machine today.
What about you, Mike?
Well, again, like I mentioned earlier, I think
Like mentioned.
I was surprised with the composure of both teams, considering it's their first finals. Again, none of those players in both teams actually have a lot of finals experience, let alone winning a championship. No, so I was really surprised with how they came out. They showed a lot of. I mean, they showed they were ready for the big stage, and yeah, they were very composed for finals debutants.
Okay, I'm gonna let this cat out of the bag. So we're a little bit, for everyone watching this right now, this was on about 5 minutes ago, and we had everything going. We actually my spiel was perfect when I started. Jay had a nice segment. Mike did also, and then we realized we had no sound. So we're doing this again, and this is our second stream. And you know what? I hope you guys just understand that we're new at this, and we are exactly everyday dudes watching NBA more than broadcasters. But we love this game, and so we're here to talk about it. And me personally, I the game was good. I mean, I like the first half was close, and I was actually thinking that in the first half delicado to for the Suns because normally I mean how the game ended up in the second half is exactly how I expected it if I were to expect the Phoenix Suns to win the NBA title. They should, they'll come out in game one and control the Bucks. So, and that's eventually what they did. I was a little bit more like, wow, if it's gonna be a game like in the first half, delikado yung Suns nito going into game two if they can't really run away with the game. But they did. So they did in the second half. So for me, for the Suns, it's like, okay, di ba we've watched NBA for so long, di ba normally game one, the percentage is very high for game one teams who win game one to win the title. So Suns took it game one. Now let's see what the Bucks do in game two to to adjust to what the Suns did. What about? Did you see anything? I ask you, Mike. Did you see anything from the Suns that? How do I say it? Did you see anything that the Suns did that the Bucks didn't?
Well, I think the Suns did what they've been doing all playoff long. They took advantage of their roster. They have a strong roster, a deep bench. They have solid role players. I mean, young role players, very athletic. And the usual, the mga 3 and D guys that everyone in all the teams are trying to amass and collect now. The Suns have a bunch of those. And with composure that I mentioned earlier, I was also surprised how the Suns bench came out because they were prepared
Oh yeah,
more so than the Bucks, I think.
Jay.
If you look at the stats, man, it's kind of weird, huh? Because The Bucks out rebounded the Suns. They shot better. They had more threes made, and they lost. One stat though that stood out among all those: 25 out of 26 free throws by the Suns. Giannis shot 7 out of 12 despite all the countdown BS being done by the
Yeah.
Phoenix crowd. But he actually shot not so bad for him, right?
Right.
7 out
Right.
of 12. But that's total 16 that the Bucks shot. Ang layo. 25 out of 26 yung kabila. I think that was what stood out
Right.
the most. But the Bucks beat the Suns in all other categories, man. Weird.
Yeah, I was
You'd
texting
think
it to-
game or that they'd have a chance, pero hindi. Parang the Suns had control of the game. Lalapit ng 8 Gs, tapos lalayo na naman ng 13, 15 points. Parang ganon most of
Yeah.
the second half at least.
Well, you're
Well, 2
go,
points
go,
to
go.
add to what Jay is saying. No? First of all, the Suns, again, I found out that the Suns beat a finals record for most consecutive free throws made at 24. So that's the, I mean, and
They missed one free throw, man.
another
Wild.
thing with regards to controlling the tempo and the pace, that's supposed to be Drew Holiday for the Bucks, which he didn't do. Now, Chris Paul, on the other hand, I mean, he was a bit dodgy nung first half, but then he hit his stride by the third, and then pretty much took
Or
over the
16 in
game.
the third.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll add to you that that's where I was gonna go with my observation is that me naman I was gonna go with what Drew Holiday did not do.
Right, exactly, exactly.
I mean, he did not have his game at all. I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now, and he had 10 points, minus 16. He shot 4 for 14 from the field. So that's even though he had 9 assists and 7 rebounds, but it was so obvious that it was off. I mean, what I saw in the first half was I don't know. I have to rewatch the game to see if PJ Tucker was guarding the guards in the second half because in the first half I was amused.
Sure.
I was amused that PJ Tucker was on Chris Paul and he was on Booker, and I was like, "Wow, this guy guards
Or Booker.
KD. He guards centers, and now he's guarding the point guard." This one like, grabe naman to. And then, like you said nga, di ba, si CP3 was medyo not doing so much
Yeah,
in the first half. Did Bud kaya, okay, my question, I'd like to wonder, did Monty adjust that in the second half to free up Booker and Chris Paul because they went nuts in the third quarter? Or was it a Bud mistake taking away PJ Tucker from the guards? That's why naka free up sina Chris Paul. So I would like to rewatch that second half to really focus on that because that's when they went nuts. Third quarter, di ba?
I think it could be a little
Yeah.
bit of both. Kasi if you look, I mean, Chris Paul's start wasn't because he was guarded well. He had good looks.
Oh yeah,
He
Sabagay
just
He
also.
had his-
Yeah.
he just didn't make them. I mean, I think you know,
Yeah.
it was funny we were chatting, diba? The observation na everyone was composed. Sino pa yung veteran? Yun nga yun, yun pa yung parang, oh my god. Okay, so the jitters was mostly with Chris Paul more than Booker.
Not surprised, really.
I mean, he took control of that second half.
Oh, not dude. I
Scored
mean,
16 in the third, and
yep. Chris Paul went
game,
nuts.
the game from then, wala na eh. Controlled na. And to go back on that Drew Holiday point Julio was making, I'm not so sure if it's totally Drew's fault or the system's fault.
Yeah.
Again, no, part of the article that we posted the other day was that without Giannis in the lineup, Drew was able to control the
Right.
game. No, I mean, it could be the system Bud runs that kind of screwed them over when the ball was a lot with Giannis again. You saw again a lot of those ISOs. They had a lot of forced shots going inside. Hirap na hirap sila kasi naka-zone defense yung Suns eh.
Yeah.
Right.
Parang PDC, imbes na adjust. Naman
Pero if you notice, when they were making a run in the fourth, it was that Giannis at center na. Di ba? Biglang naging
Right.
center si Giannis. And they were,
Yan sana yung system na tinatakbo nila. But kasi Brook Lopez actually played well the first half eh, no?
yeah.
Most of his 17 points were all in the first half yata eh.
Do you think they'll go more to that Giannis? Kasi parang okay yun eh. Giannis, I mean, like, when the game gets, you have a lot of shooters kasi kulang sila sa shooters and creators if you notice.
I think that's
As in,
yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, you saw the adjustment that the Clips made with the Suns, diba, and going small. They tried Zubac
yeah,
early
yeah,
on
yeah,
in
yeah.
the series, and then when they did
Tap-
that
Tatum was
adjustment,
starting a
diba,
center.
and then
Yeah,
that's when the Clippers were able to really, you know, punch back uh with the Suns, diba? So I think it's that adjustment, but the difference with the Clippers and the Bucks for me is the shooters. Eh.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can't go small if you don't have shooters around
Or
you.
at least no, or at least willing to shoot because
Right,
they
right.
have shooters na parang remember si Jay nga was
Forbes.
saying
Hold on.
na Giannis will drive in, super clogged yung lane to pass out, yung papasahan niya sa three-point area, the drive rin naman. So it's like,
Right,
Yun
what's
ang
right,
that?
guy.
right,
What was
right.
that? Who was that?
Diba?
Donovan,
That's
right?
exactly what happened kanina. Yeah. Saksak din eh. Ano to? Ba't tira mo sa labas, di ba?
Yeah, diba? I drive inside to pass out to you and you're gonna drive also.
Right,
Why
right.
don't you drive na lang?
Na nga eh. Nakasama na eh. Ano ka, di ba?
Yeah.
And with Giannis there, the lane's even more clogged than it was originally was.
Yeah.
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 Most definitely.
No, but
Game
you're right.
5 and 6 against the Hawks, the ball swing around a lot.
Right,
And they were
right.
making those shots naman eh.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the shots are there for them to take. But they were not taking it kanina.
Yeah.
Saksak ng saksak. Sa Sona, di ba? Ito, plugged up na nga eh. Ganda ng depensa ng Suns. It really is on Bud now to make an adjustment for game 2. Let's see if he has it in him.
And I
Kasi
can't blame
I'm
him.
really more of a multi guy with regards to the coaches in this series.
Yeah, yeah. But it can't also be I mean, I don't know if you agree. It cannot be an excuse of Giannis is there. I mean, Giannis has to be there, diba? I mean,
No,
diba?
of course. But the coach will have to make something up
Yeah, yeah.
for it to work. Hindi
Kasalanan
pwedeng
niya.
sasaksak si Giannis, parado yung lane, tapos kick out, tapos saksak ulit.
Kasalanan ni Pop yan eh.
Bakit? Bakit si
Hindi kasi
Pop?
siya, you saw that tweet
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
diba, na Coach Bud called him
Humingi ng
for
advice
finals
pa.
advice. Sinagot mo naman siya na figure it out yourself.
Wonder, I'm looking at the stats also now. Jeff Teague hit a three-point shot. Why didn't he just keep on going with him? Hindi ba? Hindi pwede ba si
Forbes
Jeff Teague?
a few also.
No, Forbes, yeah. Forbes hit two
Yeah.
threes in the
Yeah.
fourth. But
Yeah.
if you look at the numbers, maybe Bud will make the adjustment. Yeah, but I would think that shooters like Forbes would play more than 12 minutes. I don't know. I don't know if that's Middleton
Well,
played.
I think ano yan, I
Especially
think
with
it's more of
defense.
I think with Forbes it's more of the defensive
That's true
matchup.
also, yeah.
So I mean, you have a shooter on one end. The problem is you have a defensive liability on the other side of the floor naman. So especially with
So,
the Bucks, with the Suns roster, diba? Taller, quicker roster.
super babad si Chris Middleton,
Yeah,
44 minutes, huh?
that was Forbes' problem with the Spurs. Eh. Nasa stymie in defense. Eh.
Yeah.
You have shooters nga around you. Problem is the other end of the floor. You can't defend. So
I know. One thing we're also talking about is the difference in their bench. Diba? It's like
right.
yung bench ng Milwaukee. Yeah, I mean, they have people like Connaughton, Forbes, and all that. But then you put them up against what Cameron Payne is doing, what
Right.
Cam Johnson is doing.
Yep.
It's like that's
Those
Monty
guys were
Williams already.
fearless. Those guys were fearless, man, and the coach had them prepared.
Oh yeah,
If they were open, they were taking the shots. I think that's the big difference, kanina.
And I think that's the
With
same.
regards to the lalo, no?
And I think that's the same thing that gave the Bucks problems in the Eastern Conference Finals kasi loaded din with athletic wings yung
Super.
Atlanta. Eh.
Uh,
I mean, on paper,
Right,
if you look
right,
at it, on paper, they should have beat Atlanta with Atlanta's inexperience and all that, and them, being grinding na in the playoffs for so many years. But then,
a lot of teams should
lumaban
have
yung
beat
Hawks.
Atlanta. A lot of teams should have
Yeah.
beaten Atlanta,
Hindi,
man.
kasi they're even talking about next year and how Atlanta isn't even in the contention, teams in contention discussion eh. When all the teams are healthy na. I mean, they're mga, I would say, a few years away from that, pero you know they gave the Bucks a hard time in the ECF then kahit papaano.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta be another conversation because where do you go with Atlanta now? Parang I'm thinking now is Atlanta a win now team or is Atlanta a develop pa some of the young stars type of team? Because right, I mean,
Right.
You get to the Eastern Conference Finals, you think you're a win now? Because why
Right.
wait,
Right.
diba?
Uh,
And you know what win now means is you're in the market for veterans now. You're in the market for
di ba you always call them the Dubs of the East, di ba? Malay mo, baka biglang 1 year yan, they'll just break out and just win it all. out of the out of nowhere, di ba?
uh, since we're
There
on the Dubs, I think look at my hat.
Sige na,
there were two
sinegue ko
teams
na.
to win.
Ay, assist to Julio.
Yeah, that no, no. This is my last memory of a Dubs
Uh,
championship. In this, it's in this hat. But you know why I call them
I
the Dubs of
don't
the East?
I don't
Which
have to
one?
wear a hat eh. Kakapanalo lang namin last year.
Naks
defending
naman.
champs.
Fresh pa
But
fresh.
you,
Wala, I have a ref magnet from
Yes.
2014.
but you know why I call them the Dubs of the East, right? It's not like because I'm just
Yeah,
comparing.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not comparing Trey to just F. It's just that I don't know for people who don't. Well, if like let's work my stock knowledge here is that the GM Travis Schlenk of Atlanta used to be the assistant GM of the Dubs.
Right.
So they got him, made him GM, and it was almost like it looked like he was building a Steph Clay backcourt when he drafted Trey, and then he drafted Kevin Huerter.
Mm.
And then to add on to that also is that they pirated the Chelsea Lane, who was the head trainer of the
Right,
Dubs
right.
during their championship run. And ever since they pirated Chelsea Lane, that's when the Dubs ended up getting all their injuries. So if you're a Dubs fan, this guy now Rick Scalabrini of the Dubs was the trainer of Steve Nash. Steve Nash kasi was consultant for the Dubs. I guess that was the connection there. But I remember when they hired him, I was thinking that's the trainer of Steve Nash. And the new timeline yata was when Steve Nash went from Phoenix to the Lakers. And I was like, patay yari. Because we all know what happened to
Yeah,
Steve Nash in the Lakers, di
right,
ba? Steve Nash played like 1 week and then wala na.
right.
He was sitting. He was in my fantasy team pa naman. So
That got me excited for a while there. Wala din.
well, let's have a side segue. How did you feel about the championship Lakers team with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard? Did you think they were gonna go for it, Jay?
No.
No, no, you did.
No.
As in,
Oh no, I hated having Howard there, man. Just being honest. I had my doubts early on, and then I mean his attitude alone it bangga with the attitude of Kobe, dude. That's not gonna fly with
yeah.
Kobe. Yung ganong very happy-go-lucky, wala masyadong pake.
And he's not
That's
Shaq,
not
di
gonna
ba?
fly, man.
And I mean, Shaq was like that, but he's not Shaq.
Well, he'd like to
He
think
ain't Shaq.
he would like to think he was
Nowhere
Shaq.
near Shaq.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
pretend he's Superman, but he's just
yeah.
you know a
But
super role player.
I was hoping they won for Steve Nash at least. I mean, at
I
that
should.
time, I was hoping. Like, well, it didn't happen anyway. So, but there, that's the reason why I called them the Dubs of the East because of that connection with their GM. Okay, so what's next? When is the next game? When when's the next game?
Friday.
Friday. You guys, okay? Mike, what do you think Milwaukee should do to try and steal one in game two?
Well, I think number one, the spacing. They had the horrible spacing this game. Again, it's hard kasi when you say they need spacing, that means they'll have to make their shots. I mean, first of all, take their shots, and number two, make it. So for me, it's the spacing. I think Drew really has to. Again, I don't know if, like you guys, I don't know if it's the system or it's Drew. But for me, kasi I think
Or
I'd lean
or the
more towards Drew because his aggression alone was different when Yanis was sitting. And aggression isn't necessarily a product of a coach's system. That's the attitude of the player going into a game. So I I, I have to say
I don't.
na
It's not.
go ahead, Jay.
Parang it's not as easy to be aggressive for him when the ball is with Giannis most of the time.
Yeah, but even but
Stop ball agad eh.
yeah, but
Pag
even if
Giannis, saksak
you
sa loob, stop.
no, but even with his touches though, if you watched earlier, even with his touches though, he was medyo parang he shifted down a couple of gears with the way he played there. So I mean, compared to how they closed out Atlanta and how he played in that game six, it was the body language was different. The confidence was parang well based on the body language, but the confidence parang wasn't there. I don't know.
I don't know if it's confidence or
Well, not siguro confidence,
more
but
parang
yeah,
tamad. Pero parang he looked tired.
yeah. But
Parang
then again,
parang off lang na. Parang off.
like our
But
conversation dun sa first episode natin. It's his first year in with the Bucks, so you can't really and
True.
all of a sudden they go into this deep run you know and usually these things sort themselves out. They don't sort themselves out after a year long of being with the team. Not unless you're playing with LeBron and when in doubt,
Well,
just pass it to him, diba? So yeah.
UJ, what do you think? Do you think what do you think the
uh,
Bucks need to do?
combination. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Firstly, the system. Second, Giannis being there nga. So the ball kind of stops talaga. And that zone defense the Suns played was high up, man. I mean, they really executed well on deep.
Mm,
That's why they were able
yep.
to run. That's why they were able to move the ball. And daming, it allowed them to for their offense to flow because
Right.
of that deep. Parang ganun. I think it's a combination of all of that. That kind of stymied the Bucks system, stymied the flow of the ball for the Bucks. But like we mentioned earlier, the shots were there to take it from outside, no?
Right.
Pag
Yeah.
saksak ni Yanis, syempre, collapse yan. Pag collapse yan, libre yung labas eh.
Mm,
Pero instead of taking the shot, saksak ulit. So,
yep.
Yeah, that's true.
And and
Well,
and and yun na nga. I mean, you're talking about the excellent zone defense of the Suns. I mean, if the Bucks don't start shooting and making their shots, then there's no solution to that.
yeah.
wala solusyon doon, no? Nga.
Diba? And
Totoo.
Me,
and to the and I know bring up what Julio commented earlier on our chat, diba? The corners were open with that zone defense.
yeah,
Yeah.
the corners were open, nga. But no one was like there waiting and willing to
Right.
shoot it.
Exactly.
Wala eh.
Me naman, what's that? The numbers the numbers even out in the second quarter. I mean, in the second half. But if I remember correctly, when we checked Yata at halftime, it was like 14 free throws to like 4 or something
Right.
like that. And it was 12 made free throws for
Yeah.
Phoenix and 2 Yata for the Bucks. Ako, feeling ko, uh, with Giannis there, with the Giroux, even with Brook Lopez. I mean, there are people inside. They can take it inside and get
Mhm.
fouled and get to the line just as much as, I mean, kumbaga. So it's a, if Booker can get on the line, no one else in the Bucks can. I mean, it
Mhm.
balanced out later on, but it took a third quarter beating for them to kind of balance out the free throw
Right.
disparity also. So we'll see about that. For me, though, at least I don't see anything shocking. I don't know. You guys can also take on what I don't see anything shocking from game one. I see it as if I was an NBA fan, siguro this is exactly how I expected. The
Right.
Suns will
Right.
take game one. Not close, ha? Not like they were challenged. Parang they had a nice game one. Not naman coasting, but a good, we controlled you type of ball game. So let's see what you come out with in game number two. So
Yep.
and then the
So
labanan for sorry, last na lang. The labanan na lang will be how do the Bucks come out for me, ha? Not just in game 2 because they can be down 0-2 in my book. How does game 3 and game 4 play out now with the Bucks there in Milwaukee? Kung talagang hindi pa nila kaya, game over. Game over na yung finals.
we have a comment here from a friend of mine, Rafi. He said Crowder should stop shooting beyond the arc. Buck should just let him shoot and focus on grabbing the board.
Interesting. Let's check it out.
Jay Crowder did not shoot well today, but he
Yeah, he
did
did.
Yeah.
pull down 9 boards. He played pretty good D. I
Right.
think he was still a factor. He was guarding what, Middleton, no?
He
And then
was.
sometimes Giannis.
Yeah, he
Well,
was.
uh, well, Crowder can make
That's the
threes, huh,
thing
but
with that guy, no? Because
Yeah, yeah. It was
even
well.
if he doesn't shoot, he's still a factor.
Right,
yeah.
right, right. Kasi the past in the conference finals, kasi he was shooting it pretty well. Eh. So I
Yeah.
think we're kind of
He was.
No,
basing
but
it
may
on that then. Pero again, like you said, Jay, he contributes in different ways if he's not
Yeah,
shooting the ball. Eh.
may point
and
may point yung friend mo, ah.
The Phoenix games, if you follow the Phoenix games all throughout the regular season, that's really his game. He'll shoot.
Right.
He's a streaky shooter.
You know what's he
He'll make
averaging then?
shots
What's he
No,
averaging,
no,
Joe?
in games, and
no.
then in games like
I
today,
don't,
na,
I don't know about averaging, huh? But I mean, did you say your friend Raf was the one
Yeah,
who asked
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
No. That's his comment.
No, he has a point.
Yeah,
I'll say it right now. There's a valid point right there. Kasi if Phoenix versus Milwaukee today, he shot 0 for 5 from three. So he didn't
yeah,
make a single
right.
3-point shot.
yeah.
Phoenix Clippers, he was 5 for 9. So yan, good game. Okay. That was game 6. Game 5, he was 0 for 4. Game
Yun na,
4,
up and down man siya.
no, not up and down, mostly down. Huh? Game 4 was 1 for 6. And then game 3 was 3 for 6.
There you
So
go.
so there is a, I mean, it's not
Right,
it's not
right.
a foreign reason na just leave Crowder alone and let him. If he's hot, then you guard him. Kung hindi siya hot, then let him make. He will make it bato.
Why?
Crowder will make it bato.
Yep. Parang
So yeah,
parang Giannis rules lang yan.
yeah,
Kung puporma si Giannis in the 3-point line, let him shoot.
yeah. No, but your friend has a very good
Yeah.
good observation. Yun. I thought he was shooting better than this. So that's a very good observation right there. Akala ko this game lang he was bad. Yung pala,
Yeah,
it looks
kasi
like
that game 6 kasi ano, was that game 6 or game 5 na he was
game 6.
really yeah.
5 for 9 siya.
Right. Yeah. Oh, so
Yeah,
that was medyo fresh from our minds and
yeah. That's right.
right. Good
But
call,
before that,
Raf.
0 for 4, 1 for 6, 3 for 6 is doable. I mean, that's like you expect Crowder to make. I mean, Crowder scored 3 for 6 from 3 pointers, pero 9 points lang siya. So
Right,
those were his
right.
only
Yeah.
shots.
Yep.
Foul out pa siya, minus 17 on that game. So yes, that's a great observation. Okay, yan.
Yep.
That's like a little fun fact that he's not that good pala.
I'm just waiting for that for that double technical between Crowder and PJ Tucker. Eh. I think one of these games magbabanggaan yung dalawa na yan, and you guys wanna do predictions for that on what game that's gonna happen?
Ah, what PJ Tucker
PJ
and
Tucker and
Crowder?
Crowder. Wala, you know what? Kasi this is probably the only finals in my in my memory na walang bad guy. You don't have the Pat Bev types or that.
Wait. There's no. What about Chris Paul?
Eh. Sige,
Oh, wait.
okay. My bad. Nandiyan pala si Chris Paul.
Oh,
Sorry,
no, wait.
sorry.
No, no, fine. I won't mess with Chris Paul. No, he had a good game today. But let's go to the thing we were talking about kanina about the Brook Lopez undercut supposed to be na
Okay.
na okay,
Yeah.
diba? What do you think? I think those type of calls are a little bit. It's abusable by players, and they're very tic-tackety sometimes. That you can. It's so easy to make acting. Even Steph, Even Steph now is. I don't like it when Steph starts making it into a tactic in the ball game na lahat ng whatnot na lang he'll try to fall down because pag nag-miss yan, he won't go back on defense eh. So
Right.
how do you feel about those type of calls against the 3-point shooter?
Well, ako,
Medyo ano yan?
yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, go JJ,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, you.
Ako basta the defender leaves enough space. The offensive player is the one who sometimes you see it a lot. Chris Paul does it a lot also.
Yeah.
Papasabit talaga eh.
Like even the offensive one.
Harden.
Yeah.
Harden.
No, like even that offensive on Booker, I didn't even feel dapat no call na lang yun,
Right,
di ba?
right. Yeah, actually, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
again, like what
It's
JVG
really
mentioned,
successful.
it's inconsequential with the play that was happening.
Yeah,
Diba? He threw Booker threw it out. It was after the pass pa. So parang
yeah.
yeah.
And then I feel kasi now, I feel they're such good athletes that they have such great body control that they can shoot, actually concentrate on the shot already,
Yeah,
and
while
just
doing other
Even
things. Yep.
and still move their leg,
Yeah.
and then that leg hits lang, and then you fall back all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they're that good. That
Well, diba, that was a Reggie Miller special before, diba? That like
yeah,
game.
yeah,
But then I don't like it because you know, naman our take on these mga new school players, 'di ba? And how kind of fragile and how spoiled they are with
elbow.
with with all
yeah,
these
yeah,
with all these rules, no? And again, if you add things like that, parang it kind of spoils
yeah.
them even more. So I think what the NBA is doing next year with these new rules of these mga fouls na the shooter initiates when the shooter leans into the defender and all that. It's good that they're adjusting. Again, I guess siguro no matter what rules you put into the game, players will find a way to exploit them eh. So it's about the NBA being able to catch up lang with their para adjust also to these mga
Yeah,
different in-game tactics for them to finally get
yeah,
it right.
you put that in the chat group, diba? They're gonna those parang Harden and Trey Young type fouls na.
Yeah, yeah, the mga leaning in, 'di ba? So if
Yeah,
it's na when you fake, you're the defender, you go up straight, which is the right thing to do, and then
yeah,
the shooter leans in, tapos ikaw yung foul, 'di ba? That's
yeah.
parang
Like even yung rip through.
right,
I don't. It's so inconsistent. But the guy's defending, and all you have to do lang pala. Like I was watching the Clippers. All you have to do
Put
is
your hand up.
you lift your hand up. All of a sudden, foul na sa
right,
How do you want the defender to defend you like this
right,
na lang? I
right.
mean, diba? You have to.
And I'm
Case
glad
Parang,
and I'm glad that they're not calling that a shooting foul anymore. Kasi early
well,
on,
yes, yeah, yeah,
'di ba?
yeah.
So that's parang the what the NBA did na lang na if you do that, it's not a shooting foul because it's not a natural motion you take when
Mo.
Yeah,
taking a
yeah.
shot, 'di ba? So, yeah.
Because parang like I feel that yeah, they're trying to protect the players, but after a while, the players are so good and they're so smart that
Yeah.
the NBA game is not about shooting and defending. It's more about gaming the officials
Yep.
already. It's
Yep.
like, and but they're all friends. They all do this, and then they all snicker at each other. Parang, ha, I got you.
Yeah.
That's not basketball anymore. It looks like a lot.
Yeah.
Diba? It's like,
Yeah.
watch me, I won't score on you, but I'll fool the ref into that you punched me daw. Yung mga ganyan.
Parang
Like
Chris
Chris,
parang Chris Paul sabi na parang Chris Paul hugot na naman yan.
no, diba yung kay DeMarcus against the Clippers,
Yeah.
walang ginagawa si
Yeah.
DeMarcus, nakaganyan lang, biglang gumanon yung
Yeah.
kasi Chris Paul lifted his shoulder like that,
Yeah.
exacto,
Yeah.
double. But anyway, but yeah, so they're putting that rule nga next year, so I hope nga that it solves all that.
Yeah, until
Oh,
until the next time na naman that these players find a way to exploit the new rules and then have to adjust again, di ba?
that's true. How's our voodoo, Mike?
Huh?
How,
Oh,
how's our voodoo, our prediction? Did I say voodoo? Did I say what's that?
okay,
What
so
what?
okay, let me pull up the
Wala pa tayo
predictions
dyan.
board.
Mala, voodoo pala. What's that?
So okay, so you're leading by one game now, 44-23 versus my 43-24. And then Jay, alam naman natin si Jay took one for the team with all his predictions this playoffs kaya ganyan ka lopsided yung score, di ba?
So
Just to
I guess we're
defend
gonna.
Jay na parang he doesn't know how to pick his the winners. May ano yan, there's a science
I have,
behind that 32, right?
on my 2K, I have a player pick every time I open it every day. And iba yung pick ko dun sa pick natin dyan.
Nandiyan pa ba yung screen natin, Mike, na with the ano yun? Standings? Is it still
Yeah, yeah.
there?
No. Now, yeah, I pulled it up. The predictions board, the score.
Okay.
So it's up now.
It's up now, but you can't see it here in Discord. Oh wait, so I have to predict, no, for the
Yeah,
next
you're still
game.
leading, so you have to call it first.
Suns pa rin ako.
Suns ka pa rin. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the Suns. Suns muna ako. Let's see. Parang ano
Jay,
mga...
Suns yan, dude. Unless Bud comes up with something brilliant, the
your
Suns are gonna
prediction,
win next
your
game.
prediction, your prediction, Suns also.
I'm not voodooing shit anymore, dude. This is I don't really have a manok per
Wait,
se,
wait,
'di
what's
ba?
voodoo?
Hindi naman Lakers yan eh.
What's
So, but
Jay? Baka you wanna explain na rin the voodoo.
I never heard voodoo in my
ano
life.
yan? That's a long aspect on its own, man.
No, I
It's
think
like
I think
I got the unless unless Bud is able to come up with some other game plan, the Suns are gonna win the next game.
I think we can't explain voodoo yet. It's too much of a long story to explain
Yeah,
voodoo.
that's an episode on its own, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we stay for long. We have more episodes to explain the voodoo, 'di ba? Dapat tuloy-tuloy pa rin tayo.
Yeah.
So, para
Yep.
suspense yung voodoo. Okay, so the game's on Friday,
Yep.
and um, any final thoughts, Jay? Final thoughts on this game?
Um, like I don't wanna make karga naman my own bangko, but people read that post about the Bucks, and I think it's still pretty much there. Na when Giannis is there, the ball kind of stops rotating. Drew will have to figure out how to play with Giannis, man. Or Bud will need to figure out how to utilize Giannis in a way that he is helping the team. I mean, of course he did, no? He produced naman points, rebounds, it's all there, but it's not impactful enough.
Mike, any
Yeah,
final thoughts?
I don't want to jump into conclusions yet. No, this is just one game. Diba? We see a lot of people fall into the trap of deciding the series in their minds after a 0-2 deficit. So let's not fall into that. No,
Wala
again,
yun.
I think I think the series will be good. I think there'll be counter punches that we can expect from the Bucks. I mean, after all, I mean as limited as Bud's coaching prowess is compared to Pops, I think he has a few tricks up his sleeve for the next few games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Me,
think it
I,
should be a good
Tumawag
series.
Tatawag kay Pop mamaya yan.
Tatawag na baka ito na, sige na, pagbigyan na kita, iho. Ganito ang style, manalo ng 5 championship.
well, yeah, okay, yeah. I don't have any other final thoughts aside from what you got. Me, my only thoughts is that the sooner this can be over, the sooner I can
Yeah,
wait for the draft.
I was gonna say.
Baka gusto
Wala
ko
na.
sweep na lang, di ba?
Utak mo nasa draft na, dude.
Utak ko nasa draft.
We saw this last year in the bubble, dude. You were not in it the whole playoffs.
People are asking me nga, you want to see Chris Paul win a ring? I'm like, yes. I want to see Chris Paul win a ring so he can retire on top. That's okay. Well, anyway, okay, so thank you. Well,
That's the
which one?
bigger question. Mag-iiba ba yung pananaw natin SP3? Does he become CP3 after winning?
Well, I don't know about Julio, but
Okay,
actually the question there is Julio.
well, when Chris Paul wins it, I'll just say Chris Paul won it. I mean, I'm not gonna deny that Chris Paul won it. But Mike also, Mike just admits that Isaiah won rings also. Isaiah Thomas, diba? You, Jay, you just, well, no one won yata that you hated. Who won? That's a good question before we end this. He never won.
No, he never won anything.
Is there a player that you hate that you that won?
No, not really.
Yeah, because alam ko the players that you hate, like Dwight Howard, you don't like him so much, diba? So he talaga didn't win.
But he won with the Lakers last year.
Okay lang. Okay lang. Okay lang.
That's right.
Jay can let that go.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, sabagay. I remember Karl Malone, Dwight Howard, Pat Beverly.
Yeah.
So the 80s, 90s, wala. There was no one there that medyo irked you. Well, aside from Malone nga. That's it lang, Malone lang talaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wasn't a big Malone fan also, but he really choked that finals against the Bulls. But anyway,
Yeah.
That's gonna be on another. That's gonna be another day. So thank you everyone for joining us, and or who get to see this after. And sorry for our technical difficulties a while ago, and we'll improve on that. And remember, we said it first. You heard it first here on
Bench. The
the bench.
bench.
We did practice.
Uh-oh.
We were supposed to practice that. Okay, again. Okay. So thank you for watching, and remember, you heard it first here on
The bench.
bench.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you guys. Again.
All right.
See you
See
Friday.
you
See you
guys. See you
Friday.
guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Peace out.